You're going to think I made this up for views. I wish I did. The first voicemail came at 3:15 a.m. I didn't hear it ring. No buzz, no light, nothing. I woke up because the room felt wrong, like the air had weight. I checked my phone out of habit and saw the red dot. One new voicemail. No missed call. The caller ID said it came from my own number. I pressed play. There was a hiss of static, then my voice. Not a perfect match. Rougher, tired, like me after a week without sleep. Don't go outside, it said. Then it cut off. No hello, no explanation. Just 3 words, and my own voice saying them. I checked the time. 3:15 a.m. exactly. I stared at the lock screen. It ticked to 3:16, 3:17. My house was quiet. The kind of quiet where even the fridge hum sounds scared. I listened again. The same warning. My voice. Don't go outside. I got up and crept to the window. The street was empty. The moon was low, stalling behind the roofline across the road. No cars, no wind, not even a dog bark, like the whole block was holding its breath. I almost opened the door out of stubbornness. Then I noticed something strange. The lamp on the porch was on, but the light wasn't touching the ground. It was like the beams were landing on glass an inch above the steps and refusing to spread. I backed away from the door. I didn't go outside. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling until the sun dug its claws into the blinds and pulled morning inside. I told myself it was a prank, a spoofed call, a friend with a good impression of me. But at work, I kept replaying it. My voice, me telling me not to do a very normal thing. At night, I turned on every light in the house and tried to read. I couldn't hold a thought. By the time I nodded off, it was after 2. I woke up again at 3:15, not to a sound, just that same heavy air. One new voicemail, no missed call. I pressed play. Whatever you do, my voice said, do not open the door. I stared at the front door from the couch. Then the doorbell rang. I didn't move. It rang again. 3 slow chimes, like whoever was outside had all the time in the world. I muted my phone so it wouldn't make any noise if I breathed on it. Through the peephole, I saw a shape on the porch. It was me, not a reflection, not a trick. Me, in my grey hoodie, shoulders hunched, breathing fog into the cold. I stepped back and covered the peephole with my thumb. The doorbell rang one more time, then nothing. I didn't sleep. In the morning, I convinced myself it was a dream, my brain dragging fear into the last few minutes of sleep. But when I checked my phone, both voicemails were there. Time stamped 3:15 a.m. My carrier's app showed the incoming number. Mine. I called the support line and asked how that could happen. The text sounded bored until I gave him the times. Then he went quiet and said the logs were corrupted. He said that almost never happens. He repeated, almost. That night, I told myself to ignore everything and just sleep. I failed. At 3:15 a.m., I woke up to a new dot on the screen. No ring, no missed call. Voicemail. This time, my voice said, if you can hear me, you still have time. I whispered, time for what? To an empty room. The message didn't answer. The next day I called my friend Mia because she is the only person I know who stays calm when weird things happen. I played her the messages. She said very carefully that it sounded like me after a panic attack. She asked if I'd had one lately. I told her I hadn't. But then I remembered last year's job loss and the months after it, when the walls felt close and the phone felt heavy. She told me to come stay at her place because nothing bad happens when other people are around. I said I'd be fine. She said to call her if anything else happened. That night, I set an alarm for 3:14. It jerked me awake a minute early, heart hammering. No voicemail yet. I stared at the clock until it turned 3:15. Dot. I pressed play. Don't answer the window, my voice rasped. The window. 3 soft taps came from the glass beside my bed. I threw the covers back and forced myself to look. Something pressed gently against the glass from outside. Not a hand, not a face. The glass itself, dimly lit by the streetlight, bowed inward as if someone pressed their whole self against it, like the window was a membrane trying not to tear. I backed into the hallway and turned on all the lights. The pressure on the window winced and slipped away. No footsteps, no shadow, just the house breathing again. When dawn finally came, I drove to Mia's with a bag and a lie about a busted heater. She let me in and made coffee and didn't ask any questions I didn't want to answer. I slept there that night on her couch with the TV on low. At 3:15 a.m., the TV cut to static. New voicemail. Don't go outside, my voice said. I whispered to the TV, I'm not going anywhere. The static brightened like it heard me. It shifted into a grey fog that almost looked like a hallway. Not Mia's hallway, mine. I unplugged the TV. The fog held for 3 seconds after the plug left the wall, then died. In the morning, I told Mia everything. She stared at me like she wanted to say I needed help, and also wanted not to insult me. Instead, she asked for all my voicemail files. She has a list of odd friends and sent them to one of them, a radio nerd who loves signal anomalies. He wrote back the same day. He said the audio carried a thin bed of tones under my voice, a pattern that looked like timestamps, not the time they arrived, but a countdown, a drift line that pointed to one exact moment, like a compass needle. He couldn't read the final time value yet, but he said every message was pushing the same way. Pushing where? I asked. To an event, he said, like your voice is pulling a thread toward a knot. I told him he wasn't helping. That night, I decided I would not sit and wait for 3:15 like a scared animal. I would be awake, ready. I made tea. I set a chair facing the front door. I placed my phone on the table with the speaker on. At 3:15 a.m., the phone buzzed without lighting up. New voicemail. My voice sounded closer this time, like it was right behind me. Do not follow the sound, it said, no matter what you hear. I sat perfectly still. I heard a cry outside, a woman far down the street asking for help. It wasn't a scream, it was worse, soft, choked, urgent. I stood up. My chair scraped. I took one step toward the door and stopped. The cry came again, closer. Please, she said. Then, in the exact tone my voicemail used, don't go outside. I turned the deadbolt and stepped back. Whatever was outside stopped moving. It waited. After a long minute, the porch light dimmed as if something leaned in close. I could almost hear it breathing, matching me. Then it left. Finally, I did go outside at 9 in the morning, with the sun high and a neighbor jogging by with her dog and the world pretending to be normal. There were prints on the porch steps, not footprints. It was like frost had pooled in shapes that wanted to be feet, but were guessing. Finger-length ovals where toes should be. A smudged heel that was too long. I decided to print every voicemail transcript and pin them on a board like a detective in a show. If the future me was warning me, then there had to be a reason more than fear, a path, a way to get out. The 5th night, I fell into a shallow sleep and dreamed I was trapped in a slow elevator, music looping, numbers frozen, and woke at 3:15 to the dot. I pressed play. Do not call back, my voice said, no matter what you think you can change. I stared at my phone for a full minute. Then I opened the dialer and called my own number. It rang once. Then it went to voicemail, my voicemail, except I heard something under my own greeting. A faint breath, like the line was shared with someone standing in the dark with me. I hung up. Another dot appeared immediately. New voicemail. My voice said calmer this time, I know you. You're going to try anyway. If you do, you'll move it closer. Move what closer? The radio friend messaged again. He had decoded the drift line. He said the tones were pulling toward an exact date and time. He sent it to me. 3 days from now, 3:15 a.m. I didn't tell Mia the date. She said I was breathing too fast on the phone and told me to come over again. I said I would, but I didn't. On the second to last night, I sat on the floor and built a circle of light. Every lamp I owned, 2 flashlights, the TV, my laptop screen turned to a blank white document. It felt childish, but the dark was starting to feel like a person in the room. The message was short. The voice sounded like mine. It said very softly, "You still have time." And somewhere behind the glass, a tired man pressed his phone to the window and listened.